Series 12 review, let's... Weird.
The fuck's he gone?
What's that noise?
Zach. Come on, mate, you said we'd review Series 12 by now.
But I don't want to review Series 12!
Well, neither do I, but it's just one of those things.
I want to review anything else! Anything!
Come, boy. It's time.
Okay, fine. So, I actually wrote notes for this review. I never write notes for reviews. Never. I wrote a full...
This is a nice little reversal, isn't it? Because I wrote notes for Remembrance of the Daleks.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't need to, because it's a 10 out of 10 story.
You got committed to memory. It's almost Pavlovian.
Yeah. Hold on. Move this out of frame. Yeah, I never write notes for reviews. This is a first for me. Well, not a first, but I haven't written notes for a review in years. Anyway. Welcome to the review of this
Syncing the audio.
bit of cola.
There you go.
Cheers, thank you.
Triple checked.
Cheers. I'm on for good luck. Welcome to the review of, what was it, the fucking Series 12.
The entire series, yeah.
Series 12, the Jodie Whittaker's...
Second season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
I prefer it to the first one.
Well, everyone does, let's be fair. Everyone with their head on straight does. Anyway, this review took a little while to get out because I have a very complicated relationship with this series.
Yeah, like you went out in high school and like you were there for like 4 months and like you fingered them a couple of times, but then you see them in town sometimes. It's just weird.
Exactly.
What's
we don't know where they are.
What's the bond
dynamic?
Yeah. Like, do I say my first handshake?
Henry. So there's a line and you went over it. I wanted to review it back in February or March, but I still don't really know where I stand with it now because there are so many just cancerous aspects of this series, but also there are aspects that are actually okay with this series as well. And I just needed time for it to stew, I suppose. So
that's a nice way of putting it, I suppose. Fester.
Well, that's exactly fester like a rotten wound. Honestly,
it's gone gangrenous.
This is the last time I'll probably mention this. Obviously, he's a new Who fan. Yes. He doesn't really watch that much classic Who. He's only watched clips on YouTube plus the odd episode that I've shown him.
I watched a bit of Pertwee.
But yeah, we're going to be reviewing all of Series 12. Beyond just the aspect of the finale and what it did to the canon of the show, in general, this series does have a lot of earth-shattering revelations that kind of harper back to the classic series in some way.
Yeah.
So we're here with Henry with that bloated intro there. I've watched every episode of Series 12 at the minimum of 3 times and at the maximum of 10 times. So, well, yeah, you know, I'm very thorough and I'm a Doctor Who fan. I watch everything. Even fucking, what was the episode from this series that I hated? Orphan 55.
Orphan 53, wasn't it?
5. Orphan 55.
Is that the one with
that episode is just a bit... Anyway, we're going to get to
that. Is that the one that like falls apart in the last 10 minutes?
It fell apart the moment it started. Anyway, we'll get to all of the episodes, but I want to go from the beginning and go through. We'll talk about, after we've done the individual episode analysis, we'll talk about how they link and how they don't link and how things are good and bad and the characters and anyway. Yeah. So, initially with Spyfall, because that was a 2-parter. Yeah. Initially, I didn't like it on the first viewing. I really didn't like it, but I really enjoyed it the last 2 times that I watched Spyfall.
Yeah. And how many times have you watched it now then?
I've watched...
Like both...
treating
it as one big episode.
Well, yeah, it's like a 2-parter. Because it's literally called Spyfall Part 1 and then Part 2.
Just treat it as one episode.
It is.
How many times have you watched the Spyfall story?
It is 4 times. 4 times. Okay. So the first time I felt the first episode, the first part of it very unengaging, very just meh. And then the twist at the end felt, well, oh god, not another, sporadic, just vicious master like Sim, you know what I mean? And then episode 2 just felt like a very just all over the place disjointed mess with a lot of different time periods in playing, and it feels like the monster of the week in the story just went to the back seat, you know what I mean? Obviously some of those opinions are still valid for the story, in my opinion, but I really like Spyfall.
Yeah, so
I really enjoyed it the last 2 times that I watched it. The first time I despised part 1 and part 2 was just very disjointed and a mess. But then second time I watched it, I was indifferent to it, and then it's warmed on me every time since I've watched it. So
cool.
I feel part 1 of Spyfall, I don't like the gimmicky just James Bond homage. I feel like it would be good as like a 10-minute bit of the episode, but the fact that they carry it through the whole of part 1.
I really dig that.
I wish that wouldn't have been the whole episode.
Like the whole joke.
No, I don't like that it's the whole episode. It would be good if it was just maybe a 10-20 minute segment of it. I feel like they just overplayed it. We'll talk about Jodie's Doctor on a whole in a bit, but
yeah.
I feel like this whole series 12, the TARDIS team, the companions are so overshadowed by everything else that goes on in this series. They have practically fuck all to do.
Which is a shame because in Series 11 they're really interesting. That's
really what's weird is that Series 11 did better at the companions than Series 12
It normally takes me a while to get to like a companion. Like, in terms of... I didn't really like Amy and Rory until Series 7.
Tell me one thing that Ryan actually did in Series 12 besides throw a bomb at Cybermen in the final episode. What did you do productively?
Ryan's the one with dyspraxia, right?
Well, that's the only thing that I can think that was actually developing his character in Series 12 that was actually substantial, and that's fucking ridiculous.
I only watched 2
such a disservice to the character
because they were the ones I wanted to talk about the most. I didn't watch the finale. Because I'd already watched it twice. I can't really think of anything that he does.
I'm sure that's what I mean. The companions have fuck all to do, basically.
I think he does something in Lone Cyberman, but
I mean, in terms of development, where do they take his character? They just don't go anywhere.
They'd already done it. In Series 11,
then why keep them around?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just fodder. They just clog up the screen when you have the supporting cast who, are good or bad. Supporting cast are very diverse and very, some are good in this series and some are utter crap.
Series 12 definitely ups the game with the caliber of actors they're getting.
That's what I mean.
They have a lot of good people.
Every episode, I think Orphan. I'm gonna keep bashing Orphan 55, but that story has the most just cluttered, cast of people ever, and they don't do anything. And it's at the stage where you're happy that one of them dies because you don't have to try to remember their name or if they're annoying. You know what I mean? It's just
all I remember about any of the side characters is there's this really weird contrived thing where a character was hiding in the resort. And then security person.
Yeah, and then the security person ended up being their mum.
Yeah,
right?
and then it's sad because she died.
It's I didn't care. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. They didn't build up any of these characters. They just threw them in there and was you've got to care about this person because they're going to die soon. You don't want them to die, do you?
It's already 50 minutes. You don't need to add more stuff.
It's so bloated. But anyway, sorry. Let's try to do this in an order. So Spyfall. I didn't like Sacha Dhawan initially, at least his reveal scene. I still don't like his reveal scene. His acting is way too he's trying too hard.
Hammy. He's chewing the scenery.
He's trying too hard in part 1 when he is revealed on the aeroplane. He's great as the character that he's
he's
disguised as. But then his reveal as the Master is he's trying too hard. But episode 2, I really love Sacha. I really love how I was even talking to like a family friend who's just a casual fan who sometimes flicks on Doctor Who,
Right.
and they came across Spyfall Part 2, and they saw that, oh, is that the new Master in the purple whatever,
Yeah.
in the overalls, and they made the Master a Nazi in Part 2. That is fucking genius writing, if you ask
Where
me.
he just dressed up as one, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fucking hell. How has that not happened in the show before? I mean, seriously. So, anyway,
the last time Doctor Who did Nazis, it was a bit dicey.
Oh, yeah.
With the Hitler episode.
Yeah, that's not... Okay. Yeah, that was a shit episode. But anyway, I love Sasha in Part 2. I think that's his strongest episode as the Master.
But he doesn't have much
2.
to do, but he doesn't have many episodes. I mean...
Oh, no, he doesn't have many episodes, but I think Part 2 is his strongest.
He's got 2, I'd say, technically.
And then Part 1.
I wouldn't count Part 1.
No.
Because he doesn't really become the Master.
He doesn't, no. He
doesn't do anything mastery apart from,
nearly crash a plane, but anyway.
That's when he's not revealed.
All the same. So, so obviously the stuff that we get with the Master, as I was saying, the person I was talking to, who's like I said, is a casual fan, they were like, the Master's fucking scary. The Doctor Who's not meant to be scary. The Doctor hasn't been scary since RTD. And when the Master was actually strangling the Doctor, that was dark stuff. You don't get shit like that in Doctor Who these days.
No.
Because when they're on top of the... they're in France, aren't they? So they're on top of Eiffel Tower, and the Master's literally strangling the Doctor. You haven't seen shit like that in Doctor Who for years, and it's just so refreshing that you get a Master that's actually menacing. You know what I mean? Whereas I love Missy. I really love Missy. Don't get me wrong, but you don't get shit like that with her because Moffat wrote her way too safe.
She's more like Machiavellian and. She's more like a Svengali than she is like a murderer.
No, I know what you mean. I just love the brutalness.
When she kills people, I think she stabs them with her umbrella and stuff.
Or like shoots them with that weird device she had.
Yeah, it's whereas
I quite like Meshuggah on this.
Whereas Sacha Dhawan would be the kind of Master to just try to strangle someone, or like
vicious,
or like flay them or anything like that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Flay them. That's the sort of thing. So
like where he destroys all of Gallifrey or some shit.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
We'll get to that topic later on.
I love how they just can't decide what to do with Gallifrey.
Yeah, actually, I want to get
it's gone.
For
then they brought it back in End of Time, and then Rusty Davis, like subtly in an episode, said like, "You shouldn't bring the Time Lords back. It's a stupid idea to do that." Like the subtext of that entire thing is like.
Let's talk about the Gallifrey part when we get to like the finale, I suppose, because I really We'll spitball ideas about that in a bit, but I want to quickly just get through the Spyfall notes. So, like I say, I love the Master twist. I just don't like how overplayed Sasha is in that moment. It just feels way too like, oh, for God's sake, not another Master. I was kind of excited to see Missy face off against Jodie, to be honest. In a way, in a way, I just feel like it would have been fascinating to see because it's like, obviously. Beyond just the whole, they're two women Time Lords fighting each other, it's more of just a thing of like, Missy was just Capaldi's Master now. Like, Missy was just the Master for Capaldi's era, and it feels like that kind of devalues Missy a tiny bit. Whereas Sim, he's in Capaldi's episode, and as well as that, you have Anthony Ainley from the classic series who sees the 5th Doctor, 6th Doctor, and 7th Doctor. Nice. You know what I mean? So I feel like. It's a shame that they just threw Michelle Gomez away like that because I feel like she was a treasure. Besides that, like I say, obviously, I feel like in part 2 of Spyfall as well. I want to quickly say, I feel like this was actually the first episode. I was like, okay, Jodie is actually trying. That's kind of mean. I don't mean trying, but like she's actually like. Putting on a bit of an edge to her Doctor.
The energy's there.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's it. She's actually energy to it now because obviously part 2 she actually has a nemesis that that her character has history with.
Yeah.
And it actually feels like there's a long build up to this moment where they finally meet again because God knows how long from the Doctor and the Master's perspective that they haven't seen each other. You know what I mean? Because you don't know how long it's been. Yeah. There's been time skips and stuff between World Enough and Time and Spyfall. But yeah, I feel like Jodie. We'll talk about Jodie's Doctor in this series on a whole later on when we get past the episodes individually.
Because again, I think we've got very good opinions.
She's she at least sold her role as the Doctor in part 2 of Spyfall. In part 1, I feel like she was just going through the motions again. I will say I do love the bike chase scene in the
bike is cool.
I do love that in part 1. Part 1 was exciting at the least. I feel like it was a bit.
It was like a
weird.
It's like a high flying Bond.
It was, and I do like the gimmick of it. I feel like they, after the chase scene and they get to that other location, they should have just dropped the whole spycraft, aspect of the episode. I feel like that's where they should have just been like, okay, that was a fun part of the episode, but now we need to be like, okay, what are these new monsters that can walk through walls? What's this character called O about? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
anyway. I only really have one gripe with Skyfall, which is that oh crap, what were we just talking about?
Master
and the Master
and like the spycraft.
Yeah,
stuff.
the other villain played by Lenny Henry. Can't remember.
Right,
his name.
I don't know his name either.
He's basically like evil Elon Musk, basically something, right? He's like a fucked up Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
And I know what his plan was. It was to turn people into data.
Oh yeah, like transfer their DNA because it's like
but like
DNA is like the most intricate way of storage.
And my problem is like not only is it's just not an interesting villain. But also, you turn people to data just like, why? I don't think they ever say why.
No.
They don't even imply why. I think it's just.
What were the motives
I think we're supposed to just assume he's like, it's all about
bad guy.
I think it's just all like, it's all about advancing and like I guess he just wants to what's that term they use? The singularity. There's a point in time apparently, like it's a common scientific theory. There'll be a point in time when humans and machines just eventually just become.
This one in the same.
Yeah, so you could argue it's that, but you have to jump through a lot of hoops and just do a lot of legwork to get there. When realistically, the show is aimed at children as well.
I will. I also going.
He's
on
bad because
I don't. Also,
he's going to turn you to data, but why?
He reminds me of an attempt at.
I loved the monsters though. The light things. They were really scary.
It was a good concept, but they had so much mystery that they didn't live up to. In part 2, they were just kind of thrown to the wayside for the Master because everybody was just freaking out about Sacha Dhawan and be like, oh my god, we have a new Master!
Yeah.
And it feels like... So there's so much mystery to the monsters, but we never learn anything about them. They're just these bright light creatures that can teleport and walk through walls, you know? And what was that place that they teleport people to? Like, because the Master gets stuck there at the end of part 2, and then the Doctor does at the end of part 1. There's like the cliffhanger. I like. What was that place? What was that in
reference to? What was it called?
What the bloody hell was the deal with it? Where did that come from? What was the concept of it? How did that relate to the monsters?
I think it's just like a realm they inhabit.
I suppose.
Like the space between spaces or some shit.
I guess.
Like the void, but not the void.
Void stuff. The monster, like I say, great concept, but they had they had so much mystery to them that they just didn't, they didn't reveal, they didn't do anything with it. They just were just there, they were just monster of the week, you know what I mean? They were just kind of, let's throw a creature that, I don't know. And it was, the thing is as well, is that like, with how series 12 has been like so much about, let's bring all this shit back. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was just been like, it's revealed that they're the Cybermen, like from Army of Ghosts. You know what I mean?
That would have been cool.
That's what I mean. I would have been way more interested.
Were you hoping for a reveal like that then?
Well, no, I just wanted them to actually have something to them. I wanted there to be like, these creatures are actually blah, or they actually do this, or they actually. Nothing was ever like. There was no payoff to it.
Maybe. Right. Bear with me. Bit of a crackpot theory.
Okay.
So they can fuck with space and time, kind of, right? And they seem to have mastered travelling through that.
Yeah.
What if these are like the ghosts with the Cybermen, but these are the Time Lords out of sync with their time stream? Maybe that's what the Master did to them.
Maybe. I like the idea, but it's like, how does that work?
He didn't kill them, he condemned them to be these weird spectral
well, I mean, how would... Well, I suppose because Master from different time zones, so it's like, this Master was before Master burnt Gallifrey or whatever, I suppose. But I wouldn't get the Master's motive to kill them but not kill them when he can just kill them.
I know. I'm just saying.
No, I know. It's an interesting concept.
I'm just taking the piss out of fan theories, to be honest.
It's an interesting idea, to say the least. Also, so in part 2 specifically, like I already said about Master being a Nazi, that's just genius.
There is a moment I really like, or two moments actually with that Master, which is one where I can't remember what the satellite dish was called, but he goes to the doctor like, "Did I ever apologise for whatever?" And I think it's a reference to Logopolis.
It is. Did I ever apologise for pushing you off the radio tower?
And she's
or whatever
like,
he says?
no, he's like, yeah, good.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
And then my
exactly.
second favourite moment, because it's something I like seeing when there's stories with time travel, which is a character having to just live through time. So the Doctor ditches the Master in, I think, the 18th
I do
century.
like, and he grows his beard.
And he just, then like,
kind of
oh, at least
funny.
the Master's not here. The Doctor turns up, and then literally 2 seconds later, the
It's like,
Master walks through the door because he
hello!
literally just had to wait.
Wait for like 50 odd years or whatever, didn't they?
Because there was something
Love that.
similar in a Captain America comic once, like a one shot. Where
Oh,
he
yeah.
gets sent back to the 40s, and he's
Right.
like, oh, it's horrible here. Like racism is a thing, and like,
Yeah.
so he literally just like etches into a wall like. Reed Richards, come pick me up, and then like 2 minutes later, Reed turns up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's pretty cool.
So last thing I want to say about Spyfall on a whole and Spyfall Part 2 is at the end there's the twist about how the Master is like a hologram and he's like, oh, the Doctor, by the way, Gallifrey's gone. I killed it. I destroyed Gallifrey. And it's a great revelation, but after the Doctor has a pep talk with the TARDIS crew, after she has a pep talk with them and they're like, it'll be okay.
Just say it once.
Fuck off.
Just say it once. I'll stop saying it.
The fam!
There you go.
After she has a talk with them,
Her fam, specifically.
it feels like after that pep talk, she feels unchanged by it all of a sudden. They're suddenly like, do you want to look for the Master? Do you want to figure out why he destroyed Gallifrey? And then she just suddenly goes, no, we'll wait for them to come to us. And it just feels like you have a great plot strand and then the Doctor just like shrugs it off, you know what I mean, at the end.
Yeah, I think there's two elements to that. The one thing could be that, you know, from a writing standpoint, you'd want to just fill out the series, but also
I know that, but
from a
it's
second
like,
standpoint,
it's just how it was delivered.
Yeah,
you
from
know?
a second standpoint, it could also be like a theme thing. Like it could be like the Doctor knows the Master so well that she knows that if she just went straight out looking for him, there'd undoubtedly be some sort of trap or like scheme.
No, I know, but it's just the way it was handled. It was just the way that it was delivered. That's what I mean. Like writing, sure, you need to have a sort of a bottle episode after this one to just be like, oh, there's a planet with monsters. Okay, we saved them by.
Speaking of, the Lone Cyberman is a great example of a bottle episode, I think.
But it wasn't a bottle episode. It led into an amazing.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, chronological order. Let's talk about the probably one of the worst Doctor Who stories I've seen in a fucking long time. And it's competing with fucking Leisure Hive.
Love and Monsters.
Love and Monsters I like more than this story.
Really?
I like Fear Her more than this story.
It is great.
That's what I mean. But anyway, I also love, what was that other shitty one from Series 3? What was
Shakespeare Code?
Yeah, I like that more than Orphan 5/5. I really detest Orphan 5/5.
Yes.
First of all, too many characters. You don't give a shit about any of them.
Yeah, too
the
many
fucking
colours.
old lady going, "Where's Benny? Where's Benny? Do you know where Benny
That
is?
was
Where's
funny.
Benny?
I loved
Benny!"
that.
I was applauding when
so
she
funny.
was ripped to pieces. That's not a good sign for a Doctor episode. If you get people to applaud at an old lady's death.
Well, she was old.
Well, no, she was like, have you seen my Benny? My Benny? Benny? Shut the fuck up, I don't care about Benny!
It was funny.
I'm so mad at that. Holy shit.
He just fucking gets ripped to shreds.
Also, James Buckley was wasted in this story. In between this guy.
I forgot he was in it, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Green
They could have
hair.
done so much better with him, but they just wasted him.
I did like the little father-son thing going on. I liked that little story.
Good, but it was a bad episode. Why throw him in the most abysmal, just convoluted, trashy
It's like
episode?
when they used David Mitchell and Robert Webb in Dinosaurs on a Spaceship.
Oh yeah.
Such a waste of
I like Dinosaurs on a Spaceship more than this.
I hate
I like
Spaceship with
what
a
else
passion.
is shit in
It's the most like Moffat-y episode
Oh
ever.
yeah, oh
It's
yeah.
like,
It's
what's
just-
something weird?
Queen
crazy?
Nefertiti and some dinosaur hunter guy. You know, it's like fuck off, mate.
Where it's literally
Anyway,
just like
Orphan 5/5.
yeah.
What were those monsters called? That was the only good thing about this story, is the design of that weird monster.
You know what I liked?
They were
It was
called-
practical effects. It wasn't CG.
That's
It was
what
just-
I mean.
It was just
they were
dudes in
just
suits.
they looked a
well-made
bit like
suits.
the Weevils from Torchwood. At least the face did. They were like
Yeah.
skeletal, like pale looking monsters with like no eyes. I think, if I remember
no
correctly.
eyes, and they had like this
Amazing
fucked up
design.
teeth.
That was the only good thing about this story.
I really.
Then we have what else do we have? Oh yeah, so Ryan's love interest. Also, she's the one who was like stranded on the resort, and she was the one who had the mother who was
she's got the bomb or
security.
something, hasn't? Doesn't she have like a bomb or something?
Maybe.
Or like she was going to like sabotage something.
And that's the thing. I don't care about these characters.
I don't
I
remember.
really don't give a shit. And it feels like they were just throwing in this like, oh, and then this person could be this other person's mother, and then
What about the
it turns out that the place they're on is actually Earth in the future. And remember, kids,
I liked that
remember to recycle.
that little reveal, but then there's that little pep
It's
talk she
cute.
gives at the end, which is kind of annoying. But
Oh my god! No, okay. So the way this episode should have ended is it should have cut to like static.
only you
and
can
then-
prevent forest fires.
No. It should have cut to static, and it should have cut to Chris Eccleston's Instagram where he goes, "I hope the planet turns around and shits on you."
You know what? I hope nature takes its revenge on you, every single one of you, that leaves shit on the floor in parks. And I hope the planet turns round and shits on you.
I fucking love that. That would have been that would have saved the episode for me. But no, there were just too many things thrown in all at once. Like, oh, this turns out to be Earth. Remember to recycle. You know, it just feels like just pick a lane. Just choose what's going on in the episode. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like it. I really don't like it, to be honest.
What about that reject from the Cats auditions that's on? the
Oh
episode?
yeah, there's no makeup. It's just a fucking pair of ears and a
literally-
weird nose, right?
No,
Is
they
that it?
don't. I swear they draw like a fucking like a cat. You know, there's like
Oh,
things you
fuck
draw
off,
to make
man.
cats.
Oh my god.
Like, you know, there's little like the,
The film Cats was better than this shit.
yeah.
Oh, definitely. God.
They were robbed at the Oscars. Could have won Best Picture.
Orphan 5-5, abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. I've never hated an episode more in a long time. I'm not. No, okay. We'll stop there.
Isn't it Praxis next after that?
No, it's Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. Such a breath of fresh air.
I quite liked
There
it.
have been so
That
many.
monster was
There
really
have been
interesting.
so many like celebrity historical stories that have been way too much about. Oh, remember this? It's this actor who's playing Shakespeare, or it's this actor that's playing.
That being said, I like Shakespeare Code. That's
Well, no,
then
but,
again,
but I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
They feel like this is this character. You need to focus on them. Don't focus on the witches. Don't focus on the. I just feel like. Plus, the monster was so good in this story. It also, I love it when episodes like this don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, it was a bit silly.
I know,
cheesy.
but I
liked it.
really like this one.
It was fun.
It's one of the Doctor Who historical stories that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
I feel like one thing that Jodie Whittaker's era, or Chibnall's writing has actually done better for Doctor Who is the historical stories, like Demons of Punjab, brilliant.
That was
and then Rosa.
That was like the second episode, wasn't it?
that was the 8th or 7th episode, I think.
Oh, right.
But then Rosa was the 3rd episode. Rosa
Yes,
Parks.
and there was
That-
spiders, wasn't there? Was that a different episode?
No, that
Oh, that's Kill the Moon, sorry.
no. You're thinking of.
I'm thinking of Kill the Moon.
You're thinking of arachnids in the UK
Oh,
with
am I?
Jodie. I think you might be, but let's not talk about that. No, I feel like Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror is actually really good.
Just thinking I'd kill the moon. Stupid. It's a fucking egg. That's so dumb.
Okay.
Scraping the barrel, it's gone through to the wood.
No, it was a fun story. That's what I love about it. And, also, I didn't know anything about Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla. Well, I didn't know tiny bits.
You
but I
knew
didn't
who
know
Edison was.
I knew who they were. I just didn't know as much as I was like, oh, after this story, it actually taught me something.
Yeah,
which is what Doctor Who used to be about, and
Like
I
the
really love that.
Like that $50,000 thing. I think they mentioned that in the episode.
Might have been, yeah.
About how he paid him $50,000 for the patent.
Maybe.
But the
Yeah. Love the monster. I feel like they. I wish they should have made a reference to like the Rachnos, like they were like some sort of distant sort of like species from the Rachnos, because they were like scorpion-esque,
like
and the
the
Rachnos were
Sabine
like
and the Ballerine.
spiders. Yeah, exactly. They didn't really do that in here though, which is a shame. But it's not an issue. It's just kind of wasted opportunity, I suppose.
Well,
I love the setting as well. That's all my notes for this.
The theming in that episode is so just competent and well put together, because you have Edison, a man who, you know, through the benefit of hindsight, historians are starting to turn around and say maybe, you know, he was kind of a crook and he like stole patents and he was took credit. He was like, you know, Steve Jobs basically. And then the villain of the episode, the actual monsters, are things that scavenge and take parts that they think are useful for other civilizations, and then they present themselves as this episode, as this awesome race.
This really gets when
they're essentially like scavengers and like those crabs that like pick up shit on the seafloor.
People need to talk more about this episode. It really did wonders.
People do sleep on it. Yeah, I quite like it.
Honestly though. Anyway, so that's that one. Only praise for this one. There's only minor nitpicks that I'd probably be like, that could have been done better, or this and that. But I feel for the most part, it doesn't take itself too seriously, which I love for an episode like this, where it's a sort of just monster of the week. All they're giant scorpions, and then you have Nikola Tesla, and you have a Silurian gun as a cameo in there. I feel like it's just a bit of fun. It's a nice romp, and I like it when Doctor Who does that. They don't, you know. Anyway, next episode is the Fugitive of the Judoon.
I think that goes without saying that's probably your favourite episode of the series.
No. Every time I've watched it, I've enjoyed it less.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
Because of the because you know what it leads up to?
No. I'm talking about like purely just from a writing standpoint and story base and like what goes on in it. Not even from like the canon aspect of it. I don't hate it. I just feel like it's gone down in my rankings. There are like 3 or 4 episodes in series 12 that I would rate higher than Fugitive. Just from rewatching hindsight and all this.
I'm going to list off all the things I like about Fugitive.
Well, okay, yeah, I'll do afterwards.
Number 1, call back to the Judoon. We haven't seen them in ages. I like the Judoon.
I know, I love that. Amazing.
The thing about the Judoon is that after they first appeared, they kind of just became
They never really left.
So whenever there was like a scene in a bar, you'd always just have like a couple of Judoons in the back.
Do you remember when they were big?
First episode.
We'll bring them back at some point, don't worry. And now they're back. I like that.
They were in series 4 for a bit and
Stolen Earth, yeah.
I
like that.
So you got the Judoon, you know,
and they actually had a main role for a little bit of this story, but I'll get into my nitpicks with this.
The cliffhanger of Timeless Children.
Yeah, to a degree, but yeah.
The second
I hope they
one,
have a big role in Revolution of the Daleks at Christmas or New Year's or whenever it comes. Anyway, continue.
Second thing, Captain Jack.
Yep. Good point.
Bisexual icon. Love Captain Jack.
Yeah.
He's great. John Barrowman is like cheesy as ever.
I love John Barrowman. He's such a pure human being.
It is very strange when you like watch Torchwood and see how fucked up it gets.
Oh yeah, how
and then you switch over to like when he appears in Doctor Who episodes down the line, he's like really toned down.
I know, he's like super just sweet.
It's like that Gordon Ramsay meme where it's like him with adults versus him with kids. It's like, you fucking idiot! He's like, oh, come here, gorgeous.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly.
But yeah, Judoon's great. Captain Jack's great. Ruth Doctor, we're going to go into that. That's a larger point. The Fob Watch the Fob Watch coming back.
Well, that's all aspects of it. Yeah, I like that. I like the callbacks in this episode.
This is a love letter to New Who.
Yes. Just callbacks to fans who watched the RTD era.
My favourite thing, because one of my favourite things about the episode as well is it's set in Gloucestershire. Or it's set in Gloucester, I think. Yeah. Which I really like, because I've been there a few times and it's a really lovely place.
It's a nice place, yes. So what I'll say is those are all valid points. I love all those aspects as well. Yep. And easily the best part of this story is the Roof Doctor, or the Roofless Doctor, as I like to call her.
Is that what people have called her?
Well, that's what I like to call her, and that's what some people have sort of like tagged her as.
You need to patent that shit.
Oh yeah. The Roofless Doctor, because she's like brutal and she's kind of just rough around the edges.
Yeah, she like cuts off that guy's horns, doesn't she?
Right, yeah, exactly.
And then it grows back. When he appears at the end of the series, it's grown back. It's the same Judoon.
Oh shit, yeah. Anyway, like I say, I love the Roof Doctor. She is genuinely a treasure. Obviously, this is something I've said to the amount. God fucking hell, man! The amount of people after this episode aired that spam messaged me because I'm like the biggest Doctor Who fan that they know. So for a lot of people,
they want to know what
they want to be like. What do you think of this new Doctor? What do you think? And I'm like. I've said it before, and I'll say this again on video, because I don't think I've ever said this. I might have said it in Timeless Child review that we did, but I'll say it again. God knows how Chris Chibnall found such an amazing actress for the Doctor, but then decided that Jodie would be the best first female Doctor.
She is a good actor.
I know, but not a good doctor. And then Ruth is just there, like, just running circles around Jodie in this episode.
She's fucking great in Broadchurch.
No, I know.
I'm just saying.
I know. I've watched Broadchurch. I love Jodie in that. She's a brilliant actress.
Yeah.
She just isn't selling it as the Doctor. And meanwhile, Ruth, I already connect more as an incarnation of the Doctor than Jodie has in her two series that we have.
Right.
That, which is my opinion on Ruth. She's fucking brilliant. She clearly understands all the aspects that make a sort of war hardened, maybe sort of more rough around the edges Doctor. She clearly has, the actress clearly just understood what the role required for her incarnation of the Doctor, and whilst also putting her own spin on it. Love her costume.
Yeah.
Fucking love her costume.
It's awesome.
Anyway, yes, so that's my point on the Ruth Doctor. Amazing. I also think Jodie was okay in this story. I feel like people bashed her acting in this story a bit, just because obviously Ruth was, like I say, acting circles around her. So one thing I will say is this episode, the more times I watch it, the more disjointed it felt. Right. Because obviously the first half is actually really good, but then all of a sudden it comes to a grinding halt when Graham's teleported to see Captain Jack, and the Captain Jack plot strand, I love that he's back in this episode, but it serves nothing to the overall story in this episode.
Oh yeah, I know that.
And even the series, Captain Jack just says, "Beware of the lone Cyberman." Was like, what part does he have to play in the lone Cyberman? How did he figure this out? What about this? If he'd come back in the finale, then it wouldn't have been as much as an issue, but he didn't.
Remember that old guy who was like helping people get across to the sanctuary or whatever on that planet in the finale? That could have very easily been John Barrowman in some old man makeup.
Exactly. Like, why didn't they do that?
Oh my god!
Such a wasted
Jack. Or like maybe like he's got those weird things on his head that the face of Bo has. There's a weird dreads. Like he's getting some smaller ones, so you can kind of like nice.
Honestly though, that's such a good way to say it. But yeah, I love the build up to Ruth. I think the strongest part of this episode is easily Ruth and how it's revealed, and then the strand there. But I feel like it jumps suddenly to just Ruth and Jodie's Doctor just suddenly being at the end of the universe where there's no jurisdiction, just to get rid of the Jadoon.
I'm gonna look up what the actress's name is.
Yeah, please do that. No, Jo Martin.
That's it, yeah.
Jo Martin. How did I forget that? No, I feel like it just kind of just jumps all over the place after Ruth is revealed, and even the stuff with Captain Jack, because they're like, oh, the companions need something to do. Jodie's going to be off of the Ruth Doctor. Okay, let's throw Captain Jack in this episode so that they can just stand there and watch Captain Jack, just blabber on about future episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just felt a bit too disjointed for me. I am intrigued to see where some of these questions lead, though, with Ruth's boyfriend who gets killed, because clearly he was like her guardian in her human form, like Martha was to Tennant.
I was going to say like her Martha.
So what connection does he have to like the Time Lords or to the Doctor? And obviously the obvious question is, where does Ruth fit in the chronology of the Doctor's life? Does it fit between Hartnell and Troughton, like a lot of people saying, or is it simply that she's before Hartnell and it's just one of those things? But I hope not, because I'd be so much more intrigued if she was like slotted in there in like the 1 to 13 numbering, and we never knew about it, like John Hurt's Doctor. But yeah, that's obviously the strongest part is Ruth.
It could be they could, if they really wanted to, and just if a new showrunner came in and just like completely got rid of Time Children, they could easily just retcon it and say like, it's a Doctor from an alternate timeline. Yeah, and that'd be a shame, because I really would love it if she was part of this timeline. She's such a treasure as the Doctor. I genuinely love the Ruth Doctor. But yeah, like I say, felt a bit disjointed in all the different things they were trying to throw at us in this episode. It felt great to start with, because it was just a simple, in Gloucestershire they're a Jadoon and they're looking for this fugitive, and you think it's Ruth's boyfriend, and then the Doctor intervenes and tries to make sure that the Jadoon don't brutally kill all these civilians or whatever, right, in this office block or whatever. Even though I'm pretty sure they legally can't, can they? It's like a thing, like, wasn't there like a level 5 planet or whatever the fuck?
Something like that, yeah, but they have like jurisdiction because it's like a certain, like fugitive or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, and then obviously suddenly Captain Jack shows up, and then all of a sudden the companions are out of the picture, and it just feels way too just all over the place in areas. It started off great, but it just went a bit off the rails towards the end in terms of pacing.
I don't really care about how kind of shoehorned in that cameo is.
No, I do love it. I just wish they.
I did miss it.
I wish they kind of blended it a bit better with what was going on.
Yeah, I get that.
Anyway. I love the callback to the nano genes as well. I feel like there were just so many callbacks to the RTD era where the nano genes kind of attack Captain Jack, so he has to leave or whatever.
Shit. Yeah.
Like I said, I love John Barrowman. I'm so glad that he's back. I just wish they did something with him in Series 12 besides just that cameo.
I think
it feels a bit just like
5 minutes.
Fan servicey, where it was just like, oh, Captain Jack, he's still in the show, guys. Don't forget him. He's you love him, right? Yeah.
I hope he's in Series 13.
Me too. Oh yeah, no, I hope he's in Resolution of the Daleks.
Or they just bring Torchwood back. That'd be nice as well.
Huh?
Or they could just bring back Torchwood as well. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty good. Let's be fair. Come on, Chibnall, get on it. But yeah, and then so Captain Jack just felt like a tacked on part of the episode, like an afterthought. Like, oh, the companions need to do something. We'll stick Captain Jack in there. It felt a bit like that. But anyway, apart from that, I really enjoyed Fugitive, but as I've watched it more, I start to see the cracks a bit more. Oh. So anyway. I still enjoy it. It's a really good.
What?
There's a crack in my wall. Oh, Prisoner Zero has escaped. Fuck. Episode 6 was Praxeus. Remember, kids, recycle. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
There is one thing I love about Praxeus.
Right.
I have this weird thing where if I see anything that's like scaly or bumpy, in Praxeus especially, and that tooth monster from Series 11.
Tim Shaw.
Yeah, I have an urge just to like scrape it off with a knife, like those videos of people with really crusty feet on YouTube like that. Okay. So I couldn't watch this because I was just like getting so weirdly jazzed up about it. I was just sitting there like I really want to like.
Well, okay, so the design of it was good. It's a great visual effects. I don't know whether it was.
It just looks like really like crumbly,
weird, scaly.
I want to scratch it off. Yeah.
I love the idea of the disease as well. It's meant to be this sort of like plastic type
microplastics.
So it's obviously like remember to recycle. It just feels so ham-fisted in that aspect. Also, way too many guest characters. Holy fucking shit! This was the worst one for that. I feel like they were written a bit better. I feel like there is an upside and a downside to it starting off in so many different locations. Because it makes the whole aspect of this apocalypse feel a bit more grander, where it's actually affecting everybody. There's stuff going on all around the world with it.
Right.
And I feel like they actually gave some of the companions stuff to do because they all go on their own subplots where they go to different parts of the planet to help different supporting characters. But then suddenly it grinds to a screeching halt when they reach this lab on the beach, and then this one guy that nobody gives a shit about just suddenly gets swarmed by these bats, and then...
Oh yeah, there's bats.
Yeah, exactly. Who the fuck was that guy? No one even spoke about him after he died.
Is that the hostess from Midnight?
Yeah, honestly though.
Mom, can we have hostess from Midnight? No, we've got hostess from Midnight at home. Hostess from Midnight at home.
God damn it. Yeah, so I feel like jumping from different locations at the start felt a bit disjointed, but also it felt like it also made it like a bit more like, oh, it's actually affecting. It's actually a lot bigger than than it usually is. But then as a caveat to that, it's kind of a bit like sometimes the best Doctor episodes are the one where it's just confined to a space and a set number of characters.
What I did, there was one side character I liked. I think he's like an astronaut.
Yeah, and he has a boyfriend, doesn't he? Yeah,
I like their fiance. I think they're engaged.
Oh yeah, I liked one of them nearly dies at the end. That was quite good.
And I liked that conversation they had when they thought they were going to die.
Yeah, that was very.
That was a side story I really enjoyed.
That was one of the first natural human conversations that Chibnall's written. I think I don't even think it was written by Chibnall.
Dialogue's not really his strong suit.
No, but yeah. So the hand-fisted recycling message at the end, like Orphan 5/5. Get out of here with that shit. You gotta do something about it.
You just did your environment episode. Why you?
That's what I mean. Why? Okay. Anyway, then
you did you fixed racism in Series 11 with that Rosa Parks episode.
No, honestly, but
we did it, boys. Racism is no more.
Honestly, Rosa was a good episode though. So
it's alright. Yeah, don't mind it.
Then obviously the set was pretty good for this story. Well, in parts, I do like that it's.
Is this the one that opens with Yaz, what's his name, Ryan?
Yeah.
Ryan and Graham all in different places.
Yes.
I loved that opening.
That's what I mean. It starts off with a bit of intrigue, but then they kind of throw that away for just a bottled story on a beach with a lab, you know? Yeah. It kind of like, oh yeah, now we're all here, and now what the fuck do? We just look through microscopes at the plastic, right? It's just a bit.
BBC. They're a bit tight, to be fair.
Exactly. And just an afterthought. Where the fuck were the Sea Devils? They're a classic monster who are like the Silurians, where they're like whenever the.
Are they related?
Yeah, they're related. So that whenever the Earth is disturbed or the sea is disturbed with anything like junk or plastic, they attack the humans, and they're like, well, fucking hell, stop polluting our waters. But where were they in this story? Even like the bit underground where all the plastic is kind of built up into these tunnels underwater.
They all died. They all got choked on these like beer ring.
Well, where were the dead Sea Devil corpses?
Because you don't use reusable straws. They choked on the straws.
They didn't have any Sea Devil costumes in the fucking cupboard at BBC.
They probably do, but it's probably from like when they first appeared.
Yeah, like they're all like
clapped as fuck.
Exactly. Bless them. But honestly, though, I wish the Sea Devils would have been in there. But then again, actually, they did bring a lot of stuff back this year, like the Master and the Jadoon, and then whatever else, and then the Cybermen. So they may have been like, maybe let's not bring another classic villain back.
And I hated how they used the Cybermen in this series.
Anyway, after that we have there's another crappy episode. We have the one with the fingers. Can you hear me? The weird sleep paralysis guy whose fingers come off his hand and then they go inside people's ears.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, that was such a
didn't
weird...
that reveal something? Isn't that guy like a reference to another character? Or like in a comic or something?
I don't know. But the whole thing is like, he's basically a Poundland version of the Nightmare Man from Sarah Jane Adventures.
Who in itself is...
Just get Anthony Ainley, mate! Who in
itself is like a rip.
Actually, I say that. Ian Glenda?
You've written it down, haven't you?
Yeah. Gelder. Ian Gelder. Ian Gelder is brilliant, actually. He's actually menacing. He's one of the only redeeming qualities of this episode.
I forgot about the fingers.
But I will say, this episode, I don't give a shit about Ryan's friend. I've never seen him before. I don't care that you're like, oh, suddenly he's Ryan's best friend. He's having nightmares. Oh, boo-hoo. I don't care.
I think he's even a montage in Series 11.
What? He's a fucking extra in that, right? He's just... No. Okay, I don't give a shit. Stop making me care about characters that you've just introduced me to. Holy shit, it's genuinely annoying me now. The twist at the end is cool, where there's like this goddess in a sun that was trapped, and
that was cool.
The finger guy, the wet willy guy, it's just been trying to feed her nightmares or whatever, right? Something like that, which is a cool concept, but it's like you kind of stole that from Sarah Jane Adventures, let's be fair. The whole idea of the fingers was kind of creepy, but yeah. Ian Gelder was good. Yeah. The rest of the acting was a tiny bit flat, if you asked me, on most of the cast members. Anyway.
Like Wooden.
Yeah, a bit. Anyway, yeah, it's a kind of crap episode, if you ask me. I didn't really enjoy it that much. Yeah, wouldn't recommend that one, to be honest. But after that, we have a brilliant story, Haunting of Villa Diodati. The Mary Shelley episode of the Cybermen.
Yeah.
The Lone Cyberman.
I like that one.
I really love that one.
Because I'm a huge English nerd, so I like seeing all my favourite writers there. It's not all my favourite writers.
I genuinely love this story. The more times I watched it, the more times I love it. Even Jodie's acting is good as the Doctor in this. She genuinely feels like the Doctor in this story.
It's also also scary. Like, the Lone Cyberman's a great design.
Exactly.
And, when he first appears, it's scary as fuck.
I mean, when I first watched it, I was like...
You see it out the window, don't you? Like, it looks like you're looking out the window.
And he's just a fucking lightning strike, and he looks like a ghost or something. Yeah. It's like, this is actually a good story. It's actually scary. There's lots of mystery about...
Well, it's no Nightmare in Silver, but...
There's mystery to it, and where people being invisible and things floating, and then rooms connecting to, other... You know the weird thing with like the paradox of like rooms where they walk in and out of the same room from different areas. I love the concept of that, and I love The supporting cast.
I love the joke.
Amazing.
I love the joke about there actually being a ghost there as well.
Yes.
when Bradley Walsh's guy has like a cheese sandwich or some shit.
Yeah. The sandwich gets stolen or something. Right? Yeah, I love that.
He has a cup of tea and this woman brings it to him and then he's like.
So I love the story. This
on
episode.
the point about the Lone Cybermen as a design, which brings me into a larger point about the Cybermen, which I think I made in our Timeless Children review.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe in passing.
I like his design because it's essentially body horror, and
that was the whole reason why everybody loved the Mondasian Cybermen.
That's part of my point. My point is that
that's what the
Cybermen work at their best when it's about, it's so easy to just merge.
Like human but not human, and how just haunting it is when you have
it's like a
human organic
where it's a natural
with robotic.
I just like the thing that makes them so interesting is that they are essentially like a few years away from us.
Yes.
Like, it would be a natural progression.
And that's the whole idea. The original
which is why I don't like
concept.
Nightmare in Silver and the Cybermen in the finale, because it's just they're killing people, which isn't what they do.
That's true.
Right?
I will say, so the original idea for the Cybermen in the 60s, which is exactly what you're on about here, is that there was a planet called Mondas, which was a twin planet of Earth, and the people that lived there were basically humans. But
they looked just like people, but they probably
no, they are literally human, basically.
Yeah.
And the planet slowly drifted apart, and Mondas as a planet, and the people on it, that planet drifted further and further away from the sun, which means they had to evolve faster, which means they had to
Cybermen to survive the environment.
Exactly, that was the idea of it, and that's exactly what you're on about, just body horror and humans having to, morph into robots to survive.
Yeah. So when they just so when it is just
so fascinating.
So then when it is just in this finale where it's just like they're just the robots that the people are fighting.
Yeah.
Where it's just like Terminator but not very good.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't like that.
Why use a Cyberman at all? You could use any villain at that point.
Exactly.
You could be like, oh, we're fighting the adipose. Or like, oh, we're fighting the
fucking lame ass.
We're fighting the Blatherine. We're fighting fucking what's his name? Oh god, he's that like B-Tech Pennywise from Sarah Jane Adventures. Oh, Bob the Clown.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah.
Also played by Bradley Walsh.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
But that brings me on to a large point about the Cybermen. But going back to the topic, which was the Lone Cyberman's design, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like it because it's got those little references to writers and books and stuff that I love.
Yes.
So.
And obviously it links obviously back to Frankenstein and how it's body horror.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love the Mary Shelley episode. The more I watch it, the more it becomes closer to being my favourite of this series. I genuinely adore this one. Like I say, this is one of the only episodes of Series 12 which I think the supporting cast is tight and actually utilised. Yes. Every character pretty much in there are actually used well. Yeah, I can't really think of a character that doesn't really get at least 10 minutes of just a good writing and screen time. To a degree. There are some characters that get more time than others, but for the most part it is done brilliantly. Yeah. Like I say, Lone Cyberman, amazing design, amazing writing. I didn't like the story as much initially because it felt very, very disjointed from the story that precedes this one. But I thought, no, I love this story more because it's more of a standalone piece. It just links into the Doctor's sort of manhunt for the Cybermen and whatever that comes after this. But I really appreciate that it's a lot more subtle than the episode that comes after. And obviously the setting is amazing. It really reminds me of the sort of Philip Hinchcliffe era of the 70s of Doctor Who, where it's just Tom Baker in a haunted house with Sarah Jane or Leela or whatever, and there's a character that's unlikable and says ghosts don't exist, and meanwhile there's this weird tentacle monster that's killing people one by one. I love stories like that, and that's what this episode feels like. It's sort of bringing that sort of aspect of Doctor Who back, like a haunted house, base under siege, murder mystery, ghost type thingamajig, which with a twist with Cybermen. What more could you want?
You spit on me a bit then.
Oh, I apologise.
Yeah. Well.
Good thing I don't have the big Rona. I love.
Why would you say that?
You trigger me.
What do you mean? I love the episode. It's full of little references to.
Fucking love this story.
So as a bit
genuinely.
Of a book nerd, I liked it a lot.
Oh, it is masterful.
You got Shelley. I can't remember. Is Byron in that episode?
Yeah.
Or do they just allude to Byron?
Yes, I think he is.
Yeah, Byron's
I
in
have a
there.
feeling he is. I can't recall.
Polidori's in there. He's cool.
No, genuinely excellent story. I love it more and more every time I watched it. I've watched it 8 times now. I'm kind of obsessed with this one now. The more times I watch it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
Like I say.
I think the only weak acting in that comes from the guy playing the lone Cyberman. I don't think he's very good in any episode he's in.
No, I will agree there. He's a bit flat. Considering he's meant to be a sort of a Cyberman with emotions, he doesn't really sell that, does he?
I just think he's not a very good actor. I just don't think he's
He
good.
didn't really sell it.
There's a reason they covered half of his face and covered it in the fucking makeup.
Yeah.
Because, you know...
I will agree there.
Because, like, the better the actor, the less makeup they put on them.
I think, like I say, Jodie's acting in this... I think Jodie has the best acting in this story as well, which may be why I like it so much.
She is very good in this one.
I feel like Jodie is at her best when she has a
Script?
enemy. No, like a good script. That's a good start. Yeah, but no, when she has an enemy that's returning that the Doctor has faced before, like the Dalek in Resolution, in the New Year's special. Then obviously Sacha Dhawan in Part 2 of Spyfall, and then this one with the Cyberman.
And the Jadoon.
To a degree, yeah. To be honest, but I think she has better acting with Ruth rather than the Jadoon.
No. What I'm saying is that's
I get
the
that.
interaction that she has.
No, I get that. Yeah, I think Jodie generally her acting's better when there's more stakes to
History behind it.
Yeah.
Behind what's
I feel like
going
she
behind what's happening on the
really sells it more when she's like, okay, there's a returning monster or there's this and that. There's a big moment. I need to really sell this moment as the Doctor.
Should we not even talk about Child's Children because you've already talked about that for like an hour on another episode?
We'll brush over the issues that it... I just want to talk about it a bit in here because I have updated thoughts on it. But love the setting. We've spoken about Mary Shelley episode enough. Yeah. Let's move on to probably my favourite story of Series 12, Ascension of the Cybermen.
That's the first part, isn't it? Of the two-parter.
I don't know what it is. I really, really like the concept of the last remaining humans on this side of the galaxy fighting for their last lives on their last leg against a monstrous wave of Cybermen, and the Doctor has to save them, and the Doctor's companions ended up getting wound up in the same situation. And it just feels like a fight for survival. I don't think I've seen a Doctor Who episode like it before, where it's just a survival episode more than anything else. You know, obviously it starts off with the Doctor being like, let's find out what this lone Cyberman is up to with the whole Ascension project that's on
Siberian.
You know what I mean?
Me. Whatever the fuck he says.
I genuinely love Ascension of the Cybermen. Every time I've watched it, I've enjoyed it just as much as the last time. I gave it a 10 out of 10 when I watched it. Now I'd probably give it a 9.5, but I really love Ascension of the Cybermen.
Oh dear. Changed.
Well, no, it's just every time I watch something, I always go, oh, that could have been done better. So nothing's really a 10 out of 10, really.
Like a proofread.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I love how the Cybermen are used in this episode. We'll talk about Timeless Children.
I disagree.
Okay.
I feel like every Cyberman story apart from the one where Bill becomes a Cyberman.
That was a great episode.
Recently. That's the most recent one I can think of was like, yes.
I feel like this is the best modern Cyberman episode in terms of how they were handled because of just how... I just love the aspect. I feel like it's a bit weird and wacky how it's like, oh, you have these floating Lumic Cybermen heads that are shooting lasers, but I feel like it's just a bit like Cybermen are going to get to the stage where they have drones or whatever, and they're going to get to the stage where they're flying for something. Cybermats and Cybermites and fucking Cyber. Well, I feel like it's just a product of the times where it's like Cybermen are going to invent new ways to kill humans. It's not like I have a problem with floating Cyberman heads. It's whatever.
I mean...
It's a bit uninspired of a design,
because it's basically cytoclophane. But
yeah, exactly. It is.
But
that's
because
the issue I have.
The fact that the Cybermen are pursuing essentially they're trying to commit genocide.
I love that aspect. I love the idea of it
because the whole point was they want to upgrade everything.
Well, that's the thing. They want they want to get rid of all organic life.
Yeah, but wouldn't it make more sense to assimilate that, like the Borg or something?
Well, no, that's the thing. They want to, but they've already got enough Cybermen. You know what I mean? They just want to get rid of the last humans. That's the whole idea of it.
Because it seems a little bit flimsy to me.
I really love it, man. I think the thing is also the human side.
Just make it the Daleks if it's going to be about killing humans.
The lone Cyberman as well. His whole motive is like even though he's part organic, he is the figurehead of this, genocide project.
That is interesting.
And I do love. I wish the Lone Cyberman had better acting.
I think he could have had a moment as well there where his human side comes through for a brief moment.
Yeah,
that would have been an interesting thing. Because they'd be like, oh, there is something there.
I half expected them to do that in Timeless Children.
Like Yvonne.
They didn't.
Remember when Yvonne kills all the Cybermen and Army Ghosts?
And even Bill and World Enough in Time.
Yeah, it would be nice to be like, there's still something there, but then immediately just go like, no.
Exactly.
So that'd be an interesting point.
Exactly.
They didn't do it, but I thought it would be neat.
But I think just the very simple nature of a fight for survival, I just really, I love the idea of...
It's like a war film, basically. Like Saving Private Ryan, essentially. That's how it felt when they're and
that's the thing.
Being shot at in that barn.
I feel like considering it's just... If it was directed in a bad way, then the pacing would have been shot to fuck. But somehow, they had two different plot strands.
They do
arguably three plot strands. You have the stuff on Earth, which is just like the setup, is like, oh, here are the last surviving humans.
Yeah.
These people are going to be the people you're going to watch out. And I feel like I actually connected with them for some reason. No, well, not the person that died straight away in the first attack. Yeah, the people who survived that.
Because you have that. There's a couple of scenes when they've trapped themselves in that.
Exactly, you have these sort of calm moments between.
It's easy because it's a really neat writing trick where like the key breaks for a door. Yes. It's a really nice little contrivance to get your characters to talk to each other.
Exactly,
and it's also a nice little writing exercise to be like, oh, here's what this person's like, here's what this person's like. It's just like a little breather.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like little breathers. I've gone on record saying on like the podcast and this that like, my favourite things are the little moments.
Because you actually get to understand.
You're like, oh, it's a real person.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, look, you're a real character. Like, oh, wow, the writer actually put some effort into this.
Exactly. And I feel like these are besides the Mary Shelley episodes, the supporting roles in this episode specifically were done amazingly. We're not talking because these characters get thrown right to the side in Timeless Children because of what goes on. But Ascension and the Cybermen alone, they're done amazingly. And I actually care that they actually survive. Besides the two people that get killed off in the first 10 minutes, like the red shirts.
That's like to be like, we're not fucking around. People will die.
Exactly, and I feel like that immediately sets the tone. Like people are gonna fucking die in this story.
And there were moments
maybe not the companions, but people will die.
Yeah, there were moments as well where I was worried, like, oh, I actually quite liked them, and there you go.
Oh, genuinely as well. In
like the girl that
I genuinely
him with.
No, I genuinely thought that they were actually going to kill off Yaz or Graham in Ascension of the Cybermen. At one stage, I genuinely thought, are they actually
they were trapped? Yeah.
Do they actually have the balls to kill off a companion? They didn't, but the episode was directed so well that it was like, are they actually going to do it?
It was good.
Yeah, and so like I say, the two different plot strands, they actually both seemed equally important because obviously, like in Future to the Jadoon, you have the Roof plot, and then you have the Jadoon plot, and then you have the Captain Jack plot.
Yeah.
They felt way too. The Roof plot took centre stage, but then obviously the Captain Jack plot demanded your attention for a few minutes as well.
Yeah.
Whereas the stuff with the Doctor and Ryan reaching this planet with this old man in a portal felt equally as important as the stuff of Ryan and Yaz fighting for survival with these last humans. You know what I mean? They both felt equally as important. I felt just as engaged in both sides of it. Yeah. And I feel like it's very easy to kind of make one seem more important than the other. I feel like if it wasn't done right, I could have easily been like the Ryan and Graham story. I could have easily lost interest in it if in one of those two arcs if it wasn't directed well enough or whatever. And I really like the acting of all of the companions and even the Doctor in Ascension.
There are some really good companion moments in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in Ascension or in Timeless Children, but Yaz and Graham have that nice conversation.
That was Timeless Children.
Oh,
maybe.
sorry.
No, it might not have been actually. It might have been
when they're trapped, I think.
It might have been Ascension then. It might have been.
I can't remember, but
no,
there are a lot of good companion moments. And
yes. I love the setting. I feel like it doesn't really feel disjointed. The only thing that I will say is that it very quickly just discards the setting of them being on this junkyard planet. But I feel like that's not an important setting. They wanted to just be like, here are the characters, they're here, now we're going elsewhere because the Cybermen are attacking. You know what I mean?
That was just to establish, like,
exactly,
it's a war zone.
That's the only thing that felt a bit like, oh, we're suddenly not there anymore. Well, that's the only aspect.
Yeah, that's just to be like, things are fucked, look how bad this planet is.
Exactly, yeah, that's
on with
it.
The story. It's just nice little bit of lip service, basically.
Exactly, I feel like that's the only complaint I have with it in terms of structure and pacing. The rest of it I feel like is pretty solid. And this episode has one of my favourite Doctor Who cliffhangers of all time.
Which is the Master coming through the portal.
Well, it's the fact that you have two of the companions being chased by an armada of Cybermen, and they're trapped inside a room and they're breaking in.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Master shows up out of nowhere through this portal with a burnt Gallifrey to the ground, and he's like, "Everything is about to change." And it's like, what the fuck? How are they going to get out of this? I genuinely was so hyped when this episode ended. This cliffhanger actually had me speechless. More than any other in a long time.
That cliffhanger was ruined for me the day before I watched it.
Oh,
because
bastards.
I knew obviously at some point like, they were going to bring the Master back because they were going to do the Gallifrey thing.
Dude.
But I remember I was like, oh yeah, I'm watching Ascension of the Cybermen. Like, I was watching it on iPlayer, so it's been out for a few days, so it's kind of on me, to get annoyed about spoilers. It's a bit stupid when it's been out.
Yeah.
But I was watching it, my friend was like, oh yeah, fine, the Master's back. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's such a shame.
So I was just literally, the entire episode was just waiting for the Master to show up eventually, so I couldn't really enjoy it. I mean, I wasn't really having a great time anyway. But and then he turns up at the end, I'm like, oh yeah, because you told me.
Great. Yeah, no, that's actually a real shame, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
Because first viewing, no spoilers, I watched it and I had a fucking blast. Yeah, I genuinely adored every second of that cliffhanger, and I really loved. I was on the edge of my seat for pretty much all of Ascension of the Cybermen.
Yeah.
I don't say that often about Doctor Who. It wasn't a scary episode, but it was an exciting episode. Yeah. It was very exciting, very action-packed, and it didn't feel cluttered. It had a few things to juggle, but it genuinely didn't,
It was good.
It didn't really stumble too much. I really do like it.
No,
it was my favourite and arguably the strongest of Series 12, if you're talking about standalone episodes. If you're classing it as a two-parter, it gets dragged down a bit.
I would say the pacing of Thomas Children's not very good.
Well, we'll get into
because you're jam-packing
so much
you're
stuff.
Taking those two plot threads, and then you're also having to do the exposition of what Timeless Children is.
Let's talk about first how Timeless Children drags down the aspects of Ascension of the Cybermen, if we're talking about it as a two-parter. Or even a three-parter, because you could argue that the Mary Shelley one was also tagged onto
it's like their Utopia.
The Cyberman 3... Yeah, it's a bit like Utopia, because it has the Master, but it's not really
that is straight up a three-parter, though, Utopia.
Oh, no, I agree.
I think
only fucking inbreds think that Utopia is a standalone episode.
I think Mr. Davis has said, it's kind of a three-part, but not really. I'm like, no, it's not. I've seen it. It's a three-part. That's the first part.
Yeah, Utopia literally has a cliffhanger that says, to be continued to Sound of Drums. What the fuck do you want? Anyway, so, Timeless Children. Like I said, I'm just saying quickly, obviously, all of the plot strands and stakes that were hyped up in Ascension of the Cybermen were kind of dropped for this new Gallifrey arc.
They've put on the brakes so you can do all the exposition and stuff.
I know, and that's the thing.
And
so, like I say, the supporting characters were suddenly just thrown to the back burner, and one of the supporting characters that you really cared about in part one just get killed off in the first 5 minutes of this one.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. What was her face? She was the fucking love interest of that EastEnder type character.
Graham?
No. Love interest of the other character in one of the survivors.
Oh, right.
Human survivors. He was talking like this. He was very rough around the edges and very, he was very cocky,
like the penguin from the Arkham games.
She died all of a sudden, and we just didn't care because she was just thrown away. Like, okay, well, she's gone then, great.
It's kind of like George R. R. Martin, or like Tarantino, kind of fucking with narrative structure.
Yeah, it's just so...
conventions and that kind of stuff.
I liked Jodie's acting. On rewatch, I do appreciate how good Jodie's acting is in this story.
She's good.
Won't lie.
That's probably her best one. I
would say Mary Shelley episode has her best acting, but this one is good for me personally.
One moment I hate
is Mary Shelley
in terms of her acting, because it's just cringe, is when she's talking to herself for a bit. When she's in
Fuck that. That is
quipping
cringe.
Herself.
Yeah.
That was cringe. Because
Matt Smith could pull that off. She can't pull that off. Matt Smith did that shit, and he did it great.
We did it with Nama and Silver, actually, with the Cyber Planner. And
he did it so well, and she's just like, no.
Oh, fantastic.
Don't bother.
I'm the Cyber Planner.
Okay.
Talk like fucking John Cooper Clarke.
So, also, obviously, Captain Jack didn't show up, which was a major hit on this episode.
Those 2 episodes, I was literally waiting for him to turn up because I
wasn't expecting him to turn up in Ascension, but I knew he had to be in the finale. I didn't care whether he showed up in Ascension or not because I was having fun in that story. He needed to show up in the finale. I was expecting him to because of the whole build. Don't give the side. Actually, I expected him in the Mary Shelley one, but I didn't want him to because it would have been such a clash.
It would have felt very strange to have him there.
That's the only thing I would say, but I expected him in the finale, and he didn't show, and that was very disappointing.
Yeah, like Captain Jack and Haunted House, it just wouldn't really work.
No, and I'm glad he did.
If it were a Torch episode, it might have worked, but...
Well, yeah, no, but that's a different story.
That's because he's basically a different character when he's on Torch.
Exactly.
He's a completely different person. But, yeah, I was literally... Well, my friend didn't spoil the last reveal in Ascension outright.
Yeah.
What they said was like...
Sorry, guys.
Oh...
No,
what they said was like... I can't wait till you see the end. I'm like, I was thinking.
Oh, great!
I was thinking in the back of my head. I was like,
what the fuck does that mean?
I'm like, oh shit! Is Captain Jack gonna come back? Because I thought like, why would only an idiot would introduce the character in the episode, have them do the warning about the overarching plot, and then not bring them back at any point or even reference them in any way. Only an idiot would do that.
Yeah.
So they did that anyway, and I was literally, I was waiting, and I was thinking. Maybe Captain Jack's gonna help the Doctor out in like a last minute.
Yeah,
thing.
maybe Captain Jack's gonna just jump in and save the day when Yaz and Graham are.
That would have been a great reveal.
Exactly.
When the band needs him trying to get in because he's like killed all the
That would have been a great resolution to that cliffhanger.
That'd have been awesome.
Yeah. But that didn't happen, sadly.
Yeah.
But, well, we already said this in the Timeless Child video that we did about like 8 months ago, but I will say it again. This episode literally felt like just the Master just updating. The Doctor on his new on the new misgendered the Doctor, sorry,
on the
on their new Wikipedia page. You know what I mean? It just felt a bit like, okay, so now you're the Timeless Child.
This is my head. It's like his head canon.
Yeah, he's like reading out a fan fiction, like, and then you're gonna give Time Lords the ability to regenerate, and then it's like.
You know,
it felt.
The thing is, there'll be another showrun eventually who just retcons him.
That's not the issue, really. I feel like just. I've said this to you and you agreed with me 100% when you and I explained it, and I was like,
Dr. special.
Show, don't tell, Chibnall. Don't just sit your characters in a room and talk about it. Show us. Don't.
There's a scene. There's something similar to that in a film I like called Red State by Kevin Smith, where to summarise the entire film very quickly, there's a fucked up church, they're luring gay people there and they're killing them and kidnapping them. Right. It's about a horror that the gay kid's trying to escape.
Right, okay.
And then near the end there's an FBI agent played by John Goodman, he turns up and it turns into like a siege film.
Right.
So it's pretty fucking baller. And then at the end it cuts off and it then cuts to him in like a briefing, like a disciplinary hearing.
Oh, okay.
And he literally just tells you like how it happened afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And then when we finally apprehended so and so and he said all these things and he's literally looking at the camera and just telling you what happened instead of just having the scenes go on.
And that's literally how
I know in that film it works, but it's very similar to what Sacha Dhawan and Jerry Wicker were basically forced to do, which was stand in a room and talk. That's literally it. Sacha Dhawan, he really sells what he's been.
I did like his acting isn't as strong as it was in Spyfall Part 2, but I really do like
basically
him.
He has to read out a novella and recite it off by heart.
I do appreciate how much he didn't save the script, but at least he tried to do something interesting.
I just think it's a testament to his ability as an actor to be able to memorise that entire exposition thing, because I think that's a good 10-minute chunk of the episode. When you edit it all together, because I think they intersperse that with moments with companions.
Yeah, just in a tent fighting Cybermen. It's like, I don't care about this anymore because you've just told me that the Doctor is now the reason that regeneration exists.
And regenerations are infinite.
Why are you still trying to make me care in this secondary plot that meant so much in Part 1, and now you're just being like, oh, it still matters. We're still going to have them in danger. And then Ryan's going to complete his character arc by throwing a bomb at Cybermen. It's like,
even though he did that in Series 11.
When they just rehashed his character growth just
did it again.
Yeah. It just feels so forced.
It's like it's kind of like Rise of Skywalker in that kind of respect, where Rise of Skywalker goes out of its way to either completely retcon or reverse or just ignore things that happened in The Last Jedi. It kind of felt like that. Where it's just like, oh yeah, here's this character doing this interesting thing in Last Jedi, and then Van Skywalker just completely does a 180 and brings it back to how it was.
What are the odds? Because of the reception of like the timeless child concept was so poorly received that in the finale of like series 13, Chibnall's going to write in this thing where it's like, actually,
he made it up.
The timeless child is the Master, not the Doctor. Don't hate me for introducing like 20 regenerations before Hartnell. You know what I mean? What are the odds that Chibnall's going to do that?
I think it's 0% because I think...
Or like some future showrunner might do that or something.
Well, I think if when they eventually get a new showrunner, they'll probably just be retcon that out.
Also, just a minor note.
As a point, I think it's 0% because controversy is really good publicity for your show.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, people said Game of Thrones Season 8 was still shit, but they still watched it. They watched the first
Season
couple.
8?
Which was the last one?
The what?
Game of Thrones. What was the last one?
Oh yeah, season 8.
Yeah, like I feel as in people were like, "This is garbage," but they still fucking watched it,
because
and they
it's
still
the final season,
and people still spoke about it.
Exactly.
Like, if you just write out that controversy, they'll eventually, you know.
No,
I don't think you'll ever go back and be like, "No, it didn't happen."
No, but just a minor note. As this episode was running through, it was called Timeless Children.
Yes.
I initially thought the reveal was going to be, is it going to be the Doctor and the Master? And it turns out to just be the Doctor, and I was like, oh well. It
does imply that there might be another.
No, I think I think it just implies the Doctor's many childhood regenerations with Tactaine. I think that's all it implies with the title, but I might be wrong. The idea of this timeless child and the Doctor being it, I don't really. And what's sad is that I don't care enough anymore about it to be mad, because obviously some showrunner's going to come along and be like, okay, let's fix that.
They made it up. He just wanted to fuck with her, and he did.
And as well as that, it's like, it feels just like something that Chibnall thought of when he was like a teenager, and he was like, oh, this would be amazing if Doctor Who had this reveal in there. And it feels like he finally got to write this headcanon of his own and make it canon for himself. But it feels like it was just something for him, and it doesn't feel like anything that...
I don't mind regenerations being infinite, because
I do.
That way you don't have to get. That way you don't need a fucking. The Time Lord is just like breathing a new generation. Like,
but then again, it gets rid of the whole exciting thing where it's like there's no stakes to it, because it's like the Doctor can just change face. Whereas if there's a limit of the amount of times he can do it, it feels more like, okay, well, the Doctor's only got 2 more lives left until he's reached his end of his 13th cycle.
I'm looking at it from more of a heartless kind of producer perspective.
No, I suppose.
We don't have to worry about like making the writers fix it. We can just keep recasting and keep the show going.
But then Moffat already fixed that issue where it was like the 11th Doctor got granted
a new cycle.
an extra set of regenerations, but it wasn't specified how many he got or how long that will last or whatever. It was just something that would, buy the show some time until they can think of a new canon for it, where it's all regeneration.
But then this 40 or 50 years out, but
you know what I mean? I don't know. It just feels very. I don't know. It feels very.
That's 2063's problem.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like the 100th anniversary of the show. That's their issue. No, I genuinely think that this Timeless Child reveal feels a lot like just fan fiction. It just feels just like something just. It doesn't, and the thing is as well is that it's the whole idea like when it was like when the Doctor did the thing was like, oh come on then the Matrix, have a piece of my history, and then she like does this, and then they have like flashbacks to all of the Doctors, basically. And then it shows the Morbius Doctors, and it's like
I've heard of that.
Like, because in Brain and Morbius, the Doctor has
he goes through previous generations and his faces,
and it shows a bunch of faces that we haven't
like
seen.
Like the George Washington looking motherfucker at one point, like a cowboy.
Yeah, don't even. And I don't like that is basically the crutch that this whole reveal is based around. Oh, there's this one story in the classic series.
It's all canon.
You know what I mean? It's where it's like there's this one story in the Brain of Morbius. There's one moment where the Doctor has these other faces, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, you can't base this amazing revelation that the Doctor has lives before Hartnell just from this one blink and you'll miss it moment from a classic story, because no one from the new series will fucking care. You know what I mean? It's not something that matters now. And as well as that, it's not even a moment in the brain of Morbius as well. The Doctor gets his mind read, and then as well as that moment with those other faces can be explained away as just being past lives of Morbius rather than the Doctor. So it's like that wasn't necessary, and that can't be the main motive for having this Timeless Child thing suddenly being canon as well. It just feels like the New Who fans don't give a shit. Like the casual fans, like they won't care enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
Yeah,
I couldn't give
exactly.
a shit.
Like as well as that. There's this one episode in the classic series where those faces might have been the Doctor. You know what I mean? It just feels.
I heard about that like a few years ago, and I was just thinking like, well, they didn't know how long they're going to go on for. They were just like, let me fucking put that in. Who cares? Like, probably going to get like 10 more years out of this and get cancelled.
So I got. Honestly though, it just feels very just.
The major contention I have with the entire retcon of, you know, the Timeless Child and Tectonian and regeneration and that kind of stuff, it's a problem that started for me in Moffat's era of writing Doctor Who, where the Doctor became this amazing, super important, like,
He's suddenly the chosen one.
Yes, he's the prophecy. It's like in every anime when the main
it's every fiction nowadays. Like
when the main character has to be part of some prophecy,
most important
or they're born with some amazing power.
The Doctor isn't the main character because of the choices he makes and the people he saves and the journey he takes.
Just a man.
He's the main. The Doctor is now the main character because they're the source of regeneration, or they're the Timeless Child. It just feels so. What is your obsession with wanting to make your main character immortal,
so amazing,
or irreplaceable? The only reason the Doctor was so beloved in RTD and he felt like this character that everybody knows and has heard of is because of the amount of planets he's saved and the amount of people that the amount of villains he's defeated and the amount of.
He
was
also the last Time Lord at that point in time.
Look, that's it as well. He was the last Time Lord.
He
was the survivor. He wasn't the chosen one. He was just. He
wasn't Space Jesus.
He was just someone who
and then
survived.
Moffat makes him
he was
Space
just
Jesus,
alone. He was just alone in the universe, and that made him important because he was the last of his kind. But he was still defined by the things that he did rather than the thing that he was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, my issue again, just to really just truncate it down and just sum it down. My final thought on it is, again, I don't like when characters are made to be so amazingly special and unique, and like the world they inhabit can't function without them.
No, exactly.
What I like about the Doctor is that I can't remember which one said it. I think it was Matt Smith.
Right.
Where he's like, "Oh, I'm just a madman in a box."
Yeah.
Like it's just like a random person.
Exactly.
Who just chose to go out and travel.
Exactly. Exactly. And it feels.
And making them Space Jesus kind of just.
We're not gonna go on a tangent.
It feels like you said with Channel. It just feels like fan fiction.
It feels like just fan wank. It feels like something that he dreamed of writing for Doctor Who one day when he was a kid.
I think for a new showrunner, you'd want to get someone who, someone who I'm not going to say dislikes the show, but someone who.
Tripple's a very fans.
Is Moffat again.
Moffat is as well to an extent.
That's what I'm saying. He's Moffat again. They got a fan to write it, which is the one thing you shouldn't do.
I mean, RTD was a fan as well, but at least he knew how to treat the show.
He had restraint and self-control. Yeah, because when you give a fan something, you give them ownership or control over something they like. Like you
gave them too much power.
It happened with Voltron. It happened with Legend of Korra as well.
Yeah.
They indulge them. Writers love to indulge themselves eventually. They get cocky, which is why you need like a Russell T Davies who apparently like he was really
understands the show.
Apparently he was really like strict with what went through.
Yeah,
he was like no, don't do it.
Exactly. But Chibnall doesn't really have that restraint. He just throws everything.
So I think for a new showrunner, you need a guy who. Or a person. Guy's gender neutral. I'm saying guy. Guy and dude, they're gender neutral now. It's 2021. 2020.
If only it was 2021. 2020 is what's such a train wreck.
I think I got a concussion. I've got a brain tumour.
Segueing on from showrunners, shall we just rate every episode individually and go from there then?
No.
Oh, okay.
I can do shit like that. I'm built different.
Oh fuck. I'm just built different.
This is that fucking tweet I did. I was like, God damn it. World hunger shit better stop soon or I'm going to have to intervene. It's like the devil.
I saw that as well. Fuck's sake, man. Okay, so Spyfall Part 1, what do you rate that?
Out of 10.
Out of 10. Just a quick rating out of 10.
7.
7. I would give it a 5.5 or a 6.
Wow.
That's just the first part. The second episode, I'd probably give an 8. I really enjoyed part 2. Part 2 was part 2 was just way stronger than part 1.
Because you got more Sasha Dewan.
Part 1 was fun. It just wasn't as good as part 2.
It's not a strong. It's not a very strong first episode.
No, it was
Season
fine.
11's first episode is quite good.
No, it's not.
That's a good
I
argument
hate
for me.
that. I hate that first one. Anyway. So yeah. What about Orphan 55? What do you rate that out of 10?
4.
I'm rating that a 1. I genuinely hate it so much. Okay.
I think it's only because I love. What's his name? James Buckley's arc with his son. I like that little side story, and I like the design of the
monster. That's why that design of the monster is that a 1 point out of 10. For
and
me.
I like the Earth twist. It's then ruined by the PSA at the end.
Yes, exactly. What about Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror?
7 or 8.
I'm giving that
8.
7. Very strong episode. I really like Nikola.
Nice little done in one shot. Semi-self-contained kind of.
What about Fugitive? The Ruth episode.
That's probably a 9 for me.
I'm giving that an 8.
Yeah.
I think 8 is fine. I think 8 is suitable for me. Maybe 8.5, pushing it depending on what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
What about Praxeus?
Because it awakens something weird inside me, I'm going to give that a 6.5. I really want to scratch it off. I don't know why.
It's better than Orphan 55, but it's in the same vein as being a bit too cluttered and a bit too unorganised. But I'd give it a 4 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Praxeus.
I'm still sticking on my 6.5.
Can you hear me? The finger guy, wet willy guy.
I honestly can't remember the episode.
I see a gleam. I'm giving that a 3 out of 10 probably. I didn't like that one too much either.
I can't remember watching the episode more than once, so I'm not even gonna rate it. I'd probably say it's just a safe bet. Probably say it's a 5. 4 or 5.
Haunting of Villa Diodati. If I Diodati.
10.
I'm giving that. I don't really give any episode a 10 apart from 3 or 4.
I feel like I'd want to get at least one episode out of these a 10. And that's my favourite one out of the series.
That is 10. The strongest, so I'm giving that one a 9.5. Yeah.
I'm just biased.
No, just a 9 actually. I'm
just biased because I'm a bit of
Haunting. I'm giving Haunting a 9.
But 10 for me. If I had to pick one episode to rate it, it'd be that one, so 10.
Ascension of the Cybermen, I am rating a 9.5. Just a 0.5 more than Haunting.
Very low 6.
Really? Why didn't you like Ascension that much?
I don't care about the Cybermen thing. It could have been anything else.
Yeah, and then Timeless Children, I'm rating a 6 because it was a fine episode. It was exciting.
I'd probably
parts,
agree.
But
I'd probably go 6.
There's so many flaws with it that I can't rate it higher.
I'd probably go 6 for that. Yeah.
Fairs. Yeah. So out of all of it, better than Series 11 by miles.
Yeah.
Maybe by the skin of its teeth better than Series 10, but then again, Series 10 is quite good.
I love Series 10.
Yeah, I think for me,
that's what
might be better than Series 10.
That's what all of my fans should have been like.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely better than Series 9. Not better than Series 8. Better than Series 7. Better than Series 6.
No, I love Series 6.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
the Impossible
Song,
right?
River Song one, yeah.
That does get a bit convoluted, but
yeah,
I do like.
I
think it's purely on the strength of the silence alone that Series 6 is high for me.
Series 12 is not better than Series 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. Not better than Series 8, and arguably not better than Series 10. It rates just below average as a series.
Although to be fair, Series 11 and Series 12 they're kind of emulating what Series 10 was doing by getting a lighter tone and making it more episodic.
And more of a soft reboot than the others.
I do love Series 10.
It is a good series. Then obviously Jodie definitely has obviously benefited from having returning monsters and villains coming back this series, which is why she struggled so much in Series 11, I think.
It was all new, wasn't it?
So it was all new apart from the Resolution episode.
Yeah.
Of Resolution of the Daleks. She was strong in that, and then she was strong with Sasha in episode 2 with Spyfall.
That's an awesome
She was strong in Fugitive of the Jadoon because of the roof stuff. She was strong in the Lone Cyberman episode. She was also strong in Ascension to a degree.
She was very strong in Timeless Children.
She was strong in Timeless
Apart from that one cringe bit, it's all good.
Yeah, when she's going, yeah.
No, she's like,
that, she's fine.
I'm talking to myself again, that's good. Oh yeah, thanks Doctor.
Shut up about that, yeah, honestly, it's so bad. Yeah.
Cringe.
Apart from that, Jodie's been Obviously, a miles improvement from Series 11. She's not a bad actress. I want to say this for the 100th time. She isn't selling it as the Doctor for me.
Right.
She just hasn't brought anything new to the role yet, still, which is very sad because it's her 2 series in.
Yeah.
3 years as the main role and 2 years as the Doctor. And that's a bit worrying that she hasn't brought that in yet.
Yeah.
Companions need a rejig because obviously.
Well, we've got one because Graham's left.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot.
So it's going to be 2, not 3.
Fucking keep Graham. Lose the other 2. I like Graham more than those 2. God damn it. Anyway,
I like Graham and Brian a lot. Not Brian. Sorry.
Yeah, I like Ryan to an extent.
And I like
as well.
Yaz, but
Yaz needs to be.
If I had to axe
more.
one, I'd get rid of Yaz.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to Revolution of the Daleks. Hopefully we can see more of the Jadoon. Hopefully we see Captain Jack. Hopefully we see Ruth, Doctor, the Ruthless Doctor. Hopefully Jodie's acting is on point, like she has been in Timeless Children or in Haunting of the Mary Shelley episode. But yeah, this has been a mammoth of a review, probably upwards of over an hour for sure.
We're probably encroaching into an hour and a half.
Maybe. But
So
if you've made it to this far and you haven't skipped any of it, thank you for first.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, I won't even watch it all the way through.
I'll probably skip to the funny bits. Yeah.
I'll probably skip like the first 20 minutes.
So yeah, this has been our review of Series 12.
More like a retrospective kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. I needed time for it to really soak in and just be like, okay, so this is what I thought of this, and that's how I think of it now. But yes, we're going to conclude it there finally.
Yeah.
Like I say, Series 12, it's an average season, maybe below average, but
I think
so there were some real crappy episodes in there, but there were some good aspects.
There are some
as
stinkers.
Well. There were.
It brings the average down. Like, you've got really stellar ones, and you've got like a couple of stinkers.
You had shit like Orphan 5-5 and Praxius and Can You Hear Me that really dragged it down.
I mean, hey, for every midnight you have Love and Monsters.
Then you have the mediocre ones like Timeless Children and like Spyfall Part 1 or something. You know what I mean? It's just a bit like, it's a bit too much like riff-raff in there.
Or from my perspective, Essentially, the Cybermen's probably the weakest one for me.
Really?
Because I do not count Orphan 5-5
Holy shit.
Triaxis or whatever it was called.
Fair enough.
I don't
those
count
are crap.
Really.
No, Ascension was amazing for me. That was the real shining star for me, along with that Mary Shelley episode.
That's my favourite one.
And then I think Fugitive was a solid one. I still love it. I just don't adore it, I guess is the right way to put it. It's a really good one, but not an amazing one for me. But yeah, enough rambling. We might do a video touching upon the different aspects of the Timeless Child and maybe the Other and the Cartmel Master Plan, which we may talk about in a future video, maybe.
Yes.
But stay tuned for more videos to come. That was another clap. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you once again if you stayed for the whole thing, or even if you watched most of it and you skipped to the end. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
I'm for a shit. I've literally been holding it in.
God's sake.
An hour. Like, literally, as soon as you called me in, I was like,
oh no, yeah.
I was like, oh, I can fuck. I'm sitting on a cigar for the last.
Oh dear, that's a major rip, bro. Oh dear. Oopsie.
I want a new fucking ironing board.
Your wish is my command. You son of a bitch, I'm in.